Right now, shots were fired at Madison's Westtown Mall. The latest details as police search for the gunman. Plus, we're less than 2 weeks from the election when both presidential candidates will return to the Badger State. We'll tell you. And the Ho-Chunk Nation breaking ground, the multi-million-dollar casino project being built in southern Wisconsin. It's all ahead on News 3 Now at 10. Police are still looking for information after shots are fired at Westtown Mall. It happened late this morning. They say so far no injuries have been reported. News 3 Now's Ellie LaLiberte has been following the situation as it develops, and she has more from the scene.
Police responded to the scene here at Westtown Mall around 11:30 in the morning. They say one individual got into an argument with two others and then proceeded to pull out a firearm and fire one shot near a cell phone store. The individuals then ran out of the mall and got into a car. No injuries have been reported so far. Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes says the mall followed safety protocol by going into lockdown.
Although these instances are infrequent, which is what we want, any amount of violence, any amount of discharging a weapon, any amount of fights, it's not what the community deserves. It's not what the community wants.
We spoke to mall employees and visitors who were impacted by that lockdown.
So I was just at the store shopping, and my husband and my daughter were at a different store in a different wing, and all of a sudden I heard a pop, and it was really loud.
Deborah Schultz was in Westtown Mall when the shot was fired.
And I dropped my clothes, and I instantly ran down the mall, and people were closing their doors.
She and her family sheltered in a game store.
And we all hunkered down there just until now.
Schultz was one of many impacted. Maria Ribadello works at Sephora and was about to clock in for her shift when police told her the mall was on lockdown.
There's yellow tape at the front doors and that they're not letting anyone in. And I called my manager and my coworkers, and they all said that they're hiding in the back room with all the clients.
But Ribadello's glad everyone is safe.
They're all okay. No one's been hurt, so that's good news.
Nearby high school Vel Phillips Memorial was put on a secure hold during the shooting to keep students away from the area during lunch. That hold was lifted around 1 p.m. Anyone with information about this is asked to contact Crime Stoppers. For now, reporting outside Westtown Mall, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
Madison police provide an update after a man was found dead outside a Hy-Vee store Tuesday. Officers say the 49-year-old man was found at 3 p.m. inside a donation bin at the Hy-Vee along Whitney Way. First responders provided aid, but the man was pronounced dead at the scene. Police say nothing suspicious was found, and there are no indications of foul play. Cooler temperatures will stick with us for the weekend. Alex with more on frost conditions. He's out on the weather patio trying to stay warm, Alex.
Yes, I am. I had to put a jacket on. Normally I can handle it, but I'm not acclimated to these temperatures yet, as I'm sure some of us in southern Wisconsin are not quite there yet when we've been seeing temperatures in the 70s and the 80s. And well, let's take a look at our weekend forecast. 56 Saturday, that's normal for this time of year. 61 on Sunday. We'll start to warm up out ahead of a weather system that's going to bring those warm temperatures right back to southern Wisconsin. We got 42, and that's really popular across Dane County. Some 41s to the west and some 43s to the south. Across southern Wisconsin, we got 39 already in Lone Rock, 37 in Camp Douglas. Even in the upper 20s, a little bit further up the highway, we will see the potential tonight for frosty conditions across a good portion of the area. 32 in Lone Rock, 34 in Madison, 30 in Camp Douglas. Those low-lying open areas certainly susceptible to frost, but you know what? We get frost in late October, don't we? High temperatures Saturday, warming up only into the mid to upper 50s. That, though, again, is normal for this time of year, and it will not be too terribly breezy on Saturday. So overall, a fall-like Saturday, a fall-like Sunday, seasonable for this weekend. But next Wednesday is looking stormy. That weather system has me interested for the potential of strong storms. I'll tell you all about that in a few minutes.
All right, Alex, thank you. Republican Senate candidate Eric Hovde makes 2 stops today as part of his Time for Change tour. Earlier this morning, he stopped at the Amerilux family of companies in De Pere, and there Hovde spoke to employees while touring the business. He later joined former U.S. Representative Tulsi Gabbard in Oregon for a Trump unity event. New polling shows the race between Hovde and incumbent U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin for the Senate seat is tightening.
We've got 11 days. 11 days to restore this country. President Trump and I are tips of the spears, but we can't do it without all of you. You know, they've got big tech, big media on their side, but you know what we have? We have the issues, and we have you.
Recently, Gabbard announced she officially joined the Republican Party. She's already a member of Donald Trump's transition team and reportedly has been eyeing a potential position in a Trump White House. Vice President Kamala Harris returning to the Badger State next week. On Wednesday, the vice president set to hold a rally on the UW campus. It'll serve as an effort by the vice president to turn out support from students and Dane County residents. She'll be joined by musicians like Gracie Abrams, Mumford & Sons, Remy Wolf, and more. The exact time and place of the rally have yet to be released. Former President Trump hosting 2 rallies in the state next week. He's speaking in Green Bay on Wednesday, the same day that the vice president will be in Madison. We have learned that Trump will be joined by former Packers quarterback Brett Favre at the Resch Center in the shadows of Lambeau Field. Trump will also be in Milwaukee on Friday at Fiserv Forum, where he was nominated to the Republican National Convention this past summer. With less than 2 weeks to Election Day, both the major party candidates and their surrogates continue to address Wisconsin voters. News 3 Now spoke one-on-one with Gwen Walz, the First Lady of Minnesota, and of course the wife of Vice Presidential nominee Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, to talk campaign goals, family and reproductive rights. A proud advocate of IVF and alternative methods to starting a family, we asked Walz about publicly sharing the details of her fertility journey on the campaign trail.
This was a story that Tim and I really didn't talk about for 20 years, even to people who were really close to us, because it was something we went through, and it was challenging and it was hard. But that's what's at stake here, our entire reproductive freedom.
Gwen Walz set to join First Lady Jill Biden on the Wisconsin campaign trail next week, traveling to La Crosse on Monday. Construction set to move forward on southern Wisconsin's latest casino today. The Ho-Chunk Nation held a groundbreaking ceremony for their Beloit Casino. The $405 million facility will be the second largest in the state, set to feature over 1,500 slot machines, 44 table games, 4 restaurants, and a casino bar.
This is more than just a new development or an opportunity for revenue. It's a symbol of our continued growth and perseverance. This land, like so many others, carries a history that extends beyond what most will hear or see today.
The more than 240,000 square foot site has a planned 2026 opening. A second phase of construction will add an 18-story hotel with 312 rooms plus a conference center. After the break on News 3 Now at 10, Alex tells us about the warm-up after the weekend. Plus, more hospitalizations are being reported due to E. coli, the rise in cases after McDonald's takes the Quarter Pounder off their menus.
They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. Why hasn't she done it?
For years, radical Kamala Harris created the border crisis. Thousands of accused murderers, rapists, even terrorists pour in. Each crime they commit makes American victims. Innocent victims of Kamala's open border agenda. They were bludgeoned, raped, strangled, stabbed, shot, and murdered. Kamala created the border crisis. She won't fix it now. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I work hard and do things the right way. Tammy Baldwin doesn't. She pretends she's standing up for the working people. But the truth is, she's cozying up to Wall Street. Baldwin's girlfriend is a Wall Street executive who helps the rich avoid paying taxes and benefited from the massive bailouts Tammy voted for. Tammy and her girlfriend get richer while we struggle. Tammy Baldwin is a fraud.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Kamala wouldn't change a thing? Their weakness invited wars, welfare for illegals, while Americans struggle. Now Kamala wants higher taxes on top of higher prices. We can't afford 4 more years of Kamala.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
With high inflation, working families like mine are hurting, and Kamala Harris helped create this mess. Now, while Americans struggle, Kamala spent our tax dollars putting illegal immigrants up in hotel rooms, and she supported spending our tax dollars to give illegals sex changes. It's not just liberal, it's insane. Kamala Harris can never, ever be our president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
When my husband got throat cancer, it wasn't just a health crisis. It was a financial one for my family. And that's something rural families know all too well. Joan Ballwig voted against expanding affordable health care for rural families and against bringing drug costs down. And that's one reason I decided to run against her. I'm Sarah Kieski, and I'm running for state senate. Because when someone you love needs medical care, the last thing you should have to worry about is how to pay for it.
This election is a choice between two very different visions for America. I will take on price gouging to bring down grocery prices. I will lower the cost of health care insurance. Donald Trump, well, he wants to give more tax breaks to the wealthy. I will cut taxes for the middle class instead. You may not always agree with me, but I promise I will do everything I can to lift up the middle class and be a president for all Americans. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
News 3 Now is focusing on the issues and the races that matter where you live, with 3 for the people.
Talking with local candidates, looking at both sides of the issues, and fact-checking it all, so you can cast your vote with confidence.
3 for the people, only on News 3 Now. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Pediatricians across the U.S. are noting a surge in cases of walking pneumonia. Last week, the CDC warned doctors and parents about mycoplasma. The condition causes young children to have a cough for weeks. Many doctors say traditional antibiotics like amoxicillin and penicillin aren't working, so they're turning to other antibiotic treatments. Health experts are hoping that cases decrease by winter. The number of people who got sick from an E. coli outbreak linked to the McDonald's Quarter Pounder has now risen to 75 in 13 different states, and that includes 22 who have had to be hospitalized. Also, 1 death has been reported. Now, most of the illnesses related to the outbreak continue to be in Colorado. Federal authorities say they're still working to confirm the specific source of the bacteria. Meanwhile, McDonald's has taken Quarter Pounders off the menu in about a 1/5 of their stores. Tomorrow is National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day. Doctors are warning people about the 5 types of drugs you should never leave unused in your home. Medical experts say opioids tops the list. Last year, the drugs were linked to more than 81,000 overdose deaths in the U.S., according to the CDC's data. Next are certain anti-anxiety meds, followed by certain sleeping medications, muscle relaxers, and unused cough medicines.
It is best to get these drugs out of the house unless you have specific reasons by your provider to keep them in the house when you're done with them.
To find the prescription drug drop-off site nearest you, go to DEA.gov/takebackday. You can also put in your zip code to see a list of places close to where you live and the hours of operation. A cool homecoming weekend for all those Badgers out there. Let's check your first warn forecast. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington still out on the patio. You're getting tough out there, Alex.
Yeah, I'm getting acclimated for fall, getting acclimated for the start of winter. We're not there yet. In fact, we have a summer-like warm-up in the forecast. No summer-like temperatures on Saturday, though. Fall-like temperatures, but this is where we should be for this time of year. For the Badger football game, kickoff at about 50. At the end of the game, lower 40s. So my suggestion would be bring those warm fall clothes, and you should be plenty comfy for the game outside tomorrow. Now, taking a look at our temperatures here, 42. It is a bit on the chilly side out here in the patio. Definitely jacket weather. I want to take note, dew point 34. The temperature can't fall below the dew point. It's a good indicator. Well, how cold can we get? And our overnight low temperatures tonight in southern Wisconsin, we're going to go for 34 degrees. In Madison, a little colder in the Wisconsin River Valley. Cold air has a tendency to pool, as I've mentioned before, so a little cooler in the River Valley. Patchy frost, not out of the question in low-lying areas and open areas tonight, but with the sunshine on Saturday, that frost will melt away quickly. Highs in the mid to upper 50s across all of southern Wisconsin. So this is normal. This is what we would expect for October, but not 79 degrees. That's how warm it's going to be on Tuesday, mid-70s potentially on Wednesday. We could be looking at low temperatures in the low to mid-60s Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning, and then the temperatures drop behind a cold front that has me interested. Watch this cold front move through the area during the afternoon hours on Wednesday. Could bring a line of thunderstorms, potentially a squall line, which means we could have some strong gusty winds with that line of thunderstorms before it moves out of here by the time we get into Halloween morning. Clouds during the morning on Halloween and then eventually clearing on out. So the bottom line with this storm system next week that the First Warn Weather Team we've been talking about for a couple of days now, that cold front Wednesday bear some watching because we could see a couple of strong storms ahead of that cold front. And if we continue to see the indication of that being the case, very likely we'll be looking at the potential for alert day conditions, which we haven't had an alert day for a while, and it's late in the season. So we want to get ahead of that to make sure that folks are aware there could be the potential for some strong storms on Wednesday. We could be looking at record warm lows Monday night and Tuesday night in the 60s. Then we cool down. And then speaking after Halloween of rain chances, we certainly could use them Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, way in the end of the 10-day, looking showery. We're looking at a period, or several periods rather, of some showers with several weather systems moving through the Midwest. We could use those raindrops. We've got moderate to severe drought across all of southern Wisconsin. And I want to remind folks, until we get the rain chances through Wednesday, and with windy conditions leading up to that and warm temperatures, we still have an elevated fire risk across all of southern Wisconsin.
We've made it. The playoffs are officially here. Lots of questions surrounding the seeding and brackets. We're not going to go there. 4 wins gets you to Camp Randall for a shot at a state title.
And last season, Verona got out of the first round for the first time since 2016 and advanced to level 3.
This year, they've got plans to go even further, starting with Kenosha Bradford.
The Cats entered a perfect 9-0, and they had no plans of changing that tonight. First drive of the game, and the Wildcats wallop the ball out from the Bradford back, and we've got a fumble! After some scrapping, Miles Dawkins comes up with it, and just like that, they're knocking on the door to score, which Austin Perez is pretty good at. He takes the handoff, and whoop! He's in to the end zone. Verona takes a quick 7-0 lead, and then not much later, in fact, not even halfway through the first quarter, they wanted more. Caleb Hallmark puts a stamp on this story early, finds Aiden Chapman, who's into the end zone for the touchdown. Verona takes it 48-0, the final. Well, it has been a banner year for Memorial. They finished second in the Big 8 and enter the postseason on a 5-game win streak.
2019 was the last time the Spartans won a playoff game. That year, they reached level 4. To Mansfield we go. Memorial opening up with Spash. First possession was a good one for the Spartans. They're knocking on the door, and Cam Parker shows off his strength. In for the tutty. Memorial goes up 6-0. Then they'd go to the air. Owen Fiedler sets his feet, chucks it deep to Jordan Elliott. Give me that. He mosses a dude on his way in for the score. Just like that, it's a 2-score game. Then later in the half, more Memorial. Marion Moore, not one, but 2 stiff arms, and he's in for 6. The Spartans on to level 2 with a 33-21 win. They'll face DC Everest next week. And staying in Division 1, both Waunakee and Middleton won their playoff openers, so the two will meet next week with a spot in level 3 on the line. Back in 2022, remember, they also met in level 2. Warriors won that game by 7.
And in Division 2, Sun Prairie East is moving on with a 55-20 win over Ashwaubenon. They'll face West De Pere next week. While Monona Grove, they held off Menominee, winning 34-31. The Silver Eagles will get Rice Lake, who beat DeForest.
More from Division 2. Milton makes the most of their first shot, winning 24-7. They'll advance to play Elkhorn, who knocked off Monroe. Plus, how about this? Beaver Dam goes up to Menasha and leaves with a 35-21 win for their first playoff win since 2011. Well, last year, Mount Horeb-Barneveld saw their perfect season come to an end, 2 wins shy of a trip to Camp Randall.
And this year, the Vikings are back with a vengeance. MHB has been rolling in all 3 phases. Sauk Prairie looking to play spoiler tonight. MHB already leading 14-0, but they were just getting started. Jack Wilson wants it, and he's got it into the end zone for the touchdown, 21-0 Vikings. And later, well, MHB well within striking distance once more. This time they turn to the air. Brooks Hendrickson throwing against his body, and it doesn't matter because Hayden Anderson is there, and he's into the end zone, 28-0 MHB, and they still weren't ready for halftime. It's Hendrickson again, this time turning to his trusty wideout. Tyrus Hastings trots in for 6. The Vikings win it 36-6. They'll get Waterford in level 2. Well, it's safe to say Columbus doesn't rebuild. They just reload year after year. Since 2021, they've been making deep runs in the postseason.
That year, they reached the semifinals. In 2022, they won it all. And last season, it was the quarters. This year, the Cardinals are primed for another run, opening up with Arcadia. First quarter, Columbus on the move. Connor Roche straight up the gut to make it 7-0 home team. And they were far from done lighting up that scoreboard. Second quarter now, more Roche. This time, a little shorter run, same result. That makes it 23-0. And you know what? Number one can catch two. Later in the quarter, Peyton Powers drops a tutty dime on him. Columbus moves on with a 52-0 win. They'll get West Salem next week. Well, staying in Division 4, Lodi knocked off Wisconsin Dells to advance to Level 2. Up next for the Blue Devils, Aquinas, who beat Edgewood tonight. Now, Evansville shut out Edgerton 21-0. That sets up a date with Lake Mills next Friday. The Elcats took down St. Francis 57-6.
Darlington is headed back to Level 2 thanks to a 42-14 win over Richland Center. The Redbirds are our only area team to advance in Division 5. The Redbirds also will face Milwaukee Academy of Science next week. It has been quite the turnaround this season for Cambridge. Through 5 weeks, they already matched their win total from last year.
The Blue Jays looking to match that legendary 1979 team when it's all said and done. Remember, they won that title. We weren't born yet. Well, up first is Belleville in Level 1, and those Wildcats came to play. No score in the first. Logan Durkee rumbles in from a few yards out to make it 6-0 Belleville. And Durkee was a busy man tonight. Same score in the second. It's 28 again, and again, he runs over a couple of Blue Jays for the score. That makes it 13-0. Then later in the quarter, the Wildcats get tricky. Brennan Keys fakes out everyone with the keeper. He's in for 6, and Belleville is on to Level 2. They'll face Marshall next Friday. Well, it was a SWAL rematch in Division 6, and it went exactly like Week 4 went for the Cubans. Cuba City beats Mineral Point by 1 to set up another regular season rematch with Lancaster next week.
And if you're wondering why two of the best teams in Division 7 play each other in the first round of the playoffs, I think we're wondering the same thing. Potosi-Cassville takes down Blackhawk Warren in back-to-back weeks, and they shut out Randolph. Ithaca shuts out Randolph 7-0. That sets up a date with Johnson Creek, who beat Royal tonight. And Cambria-Friesland, they also moved on with a 48-12 win over Hillsborough.
But you know what? Don't go anywhere. Still to come on News 3 Now, how the Badgers skated past the Beavers for another sweep on the ice. More sports after the break.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
After a serious truck crash, you need a team who knows how to handle trucking cases and gets results. You need Gruber Law Offices. There's never a fee until we win. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
You have a clear choice in this election. Senator Baldwin is a 38-year career politician. I'm a businessman and job creator. She supports taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. I'll close the border. Tammy wants to put guys and girls sports in their bathrooms. I'll protect our daughters. Senator Baldwin abuses the political system. I'll fight the corruption. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I'd be honored to have your vote.
My husband and I were elated to find out that we would be having another baby. But after many tests, my doctors agreed that we had to terminate the pregnancy. It was the worst day of my life. You should know that Eric Hovde supports laws that stop me and my doctor from making that decision. And that's a ban with no exceptions in cases of rape or incest. It's a ban that could turn doctors into criminals. He opposes abortion, period.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Kamala wouldn't change a thing. Their weakness invited wars, welfare for illegals, while Americans struggle. Now Kamala wants higher taxes on top of higher prices. We can't afford 4 more years of Kamala.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Get an 11% rebate on your bathroom remodel now at Menards. Create your dream bathroom with Sterling tubs and showers. They'll fit your style and budget and are easy to clean. Get this ensemble shower for only $669.99 after rebate. Check out our great selection of over 100 Magic Woods vanities. These high-quality vanities add a unique style and functional storage. This Haverhill vanity is $328.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Have you heard Eric Hovde?
I am totally opposed to abortion.
I am totally opposed to politicians telling women what we can do.
Extremists all over the country have passed abortion bans.
Criminal penalties for doctors. No exceptions for rape or incest.
Women are dying just trying to get health care.
There are even restrictions in Wisconsin. This has to stop.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
We are totally opposed to Eric Hovde. I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Experience, knowledge, and results. That's what you need when you've been in a serious truck accident. Call Gruber Law Offices. We've successfully helped people injured by big trucks for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
As expected, Wisconsin women's hockey dominated Bemidji State in Game 1. The Badgers lit the lamp 4 times and posted their 4th shutout of the season. Now it's time to do it again and earn their 5th sweep of the year. The PWHL champs are in town for UW's series finale, and the former Badgers would like this. Lacey Eden keeps cruising, can't stop, won't stop moving, spins and shakes it off a Beaver skate, and just like that, it's 1-0 Badgers. Then later in the first, Eden flips it to Layla Edwards, and the newest member of the 100-point club sends one into the back of the net. She scored once, Eden scored twice. Badgers win again. 6-0 is the final. On the men's side, Wisconsin looking for their upset win over the reigning national champs. This one tied at 2 in the 3rd period. Almost exactly, not exactly 24 hours from now, we get Camp Randall under the lights. Wisconsin hosting number 3 Penn State in another big-time game for the Badgers. In his short time at Wisconsin, Braden Locke has already started against some of the country's premier programs, Ohio State, Alabama, USC. And the quarterback says those moments prepared him for this one and to get his Badgers their first win over Penn State since 2011.
I think you learn and you grow each and every week, and it helps to be in the fire, you know, against really good opponents. It helped last year to play Ohio State. It helped me last year to get thrown in there against Iowa. So, I believe this team will be prepared. I believe I'll be prepared, and I think it'll be a good plan for us. We just got to execute it.
And tonight was the home opener for the Bucks. Almost 18,000 on hand at Pfizer to see Dame and Giannis. They're trying to give them a reason to get off their feet. Lillard lobs one up, and the Greek Freak hammers it home for the alley-oop. This one close throughout most of the game, but then the Bulls caught fire from deep. They made 21 threes, including this one from Kobe White. Chicago spoils Milwaukee's big day. 133-122 is your final. We're back after this.
I'm Joan Balwig, and I'm here to set the record straight. I support birth control, the life and health of mothers, extending postpartum care, and fertility treatments, including IVF. I'm Joan Balwig. I have always fought for Wisconsin moms, and I always will.
National Democrats have been a disaster. Higher prices, open borders, making our communities less safe. They can't run on their record, so they try to distract you by lying about abortion.
Here's the truth. I oppose a national abortion ban. Early in a pregnancy, women should have the right to decide. We should allow for exceptions. And finally, the people of Wisconsin need to decide this issue, not politicians in Washington.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Kamala wouldn't change a thing. Their weakness invited wars, welfare for illegals, while Americans struggle. Now Kamala wants higher taxes on top of higher prices. We can't afford 4 more years of Kamala.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
We count on gasoline to power our cars, our tractors, our way of life. So why is a city slicker from Miami, Elizabeth Crappie, okay banning gas-powered vehicles? Extremists like Crappie want to eliminate fossil fuels, robbing hard-working families, farmers, and small businesses of their vehicles. Miami Liz's radical ideas hurt our families and our main streets. Don't let Crappie get away with it. Born and raised right here. Todd Novak is our independent voice for common sense, protecting our way of life.
Out of money, I know 20 of you, and you're rich as hell. We're going to give you tax cuts. We're going to pay you.
I am not rich as hell. I work hard. I scrape to get by. Donald Trump wants to give tax breaks to billionaires, but Kamala Harris has plans to help us. She's going to crack down on price gouging and cut taxes for working people like me. I voted for Donald Trump before, but this time I'm voting for Kamala.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Eric Hovde's trying to scare you. The truth is, no sex change surgeries take place on minors in Wisconsin. 0. And Tammy Baldwin didn't give funding to a transgender clinic. It's actually a youth homeless shelter. Eric Hovde knows that. But he's a billionaire banker who thinks he can lie about anything, including falsely attacking Tammy Baldwin by questioning her personal life. Wisconsin's better than Eric Hovde.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
Kyle Pozorski, News 3 Now, weekend mornings, moving forward.
Tonight, would you like to have a beer with me so I can tell people what that's like? There you go.
Colbert's got Vice President Kamala Harris tonight on CBS.
And the one big sporting event we didn't have time to mention?
The Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series.
World Series Game 1.
Extra innings. Last we saw 3-2 Yankees.
Who do you want to win?
I would like the Yankees to win, but I really like Shohei Ohtani. It could go either way.
All right. Andrew?
Have a great night.
Good night.